everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From BA to Broadway, your premier showbiz education podcast. You know who it is. It's me. It's Mr. Brennan, Stefanik, your host, and I'm bringing you those general programming reminders. Folks, every Monday we are here with our main episodes, and every Friday we are here with our mini-series In the Spotlight, but that's enough about that. That's not why we're here today, folks. Today I am joined by the loveliest of lovelies, dear friend, Miss Michelle Taplin. Michelle, what's going on?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Who the heck are you and what do you do?
It's a great question. Who am I? I am a full-time high school and middle school theater teacher.
Whoa. Your favorite theater teacher's favorite theater teacher.
As well as a company owner of Tap Into Your Passion, a theater coaching company that specializes in the college audition process for musical theater and acting, as well as a masterclass series and all different types of private lessons for all of your audition needs.
Hell yeah. And then question 2 is usually, how do we know each other?
It's a great question. When did we meet?
I guess
at Haswell's, actually.
Yeah, we
did meet
at our mutual favorite place in the world, Haswell Greens.
I think it was my 27th birthday.
It was
Brandon
literally your
introduced
birthday.
us. Yeah.
My parents were visiting and I took them to Haswell's. And then, we have the mutual friends of Danny and Brandon. And
the best kind.
Yeah. That must have been a few years ago now.
It was 2 years ago.
Whoa.
You and Brandon just finished your dogfight contract.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last but not least, did you go to school for theater?
I did. I went to Muhlenberg. I got my BA in theater with concentration in acting and also a BA in business with a concentration in arts administration. So I double majored there. That was really important for me to do. I always wanted to do that. And then I got my master's in theater education out of Delphi.
Wow. Love that for you.
Thank you.
Okay. So lay it out here. When did the theater start? When did it all come into your life?
You know, I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I still don't have the answer. It just always was. It just always was. It's so lame that I don't remember my first show.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
I don't remember it.
Okay.
I think it was like Free to Be You and Me in like the second grade or something like that. It was like a summer, week-long like day camp thing. And ever since then, I don't know. I grew up in a very musical family.
Gotcha.
So my grandpa was able to play piano by ear. Like just would listen to a song and in minutes play.
Insane.
And my uncle also has that insane talent, whereas I don't. But anyway, so it was just always music at all of my family parties and things. So I was always singing. And then I got into voice lessons in the 5th grade. I've been dancing since I was 5. So I grew up dancing from 5 years old on. And then my first play was truly the first one that would I was old enough to do.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
I truly never stopped. I wish I had a better story for you to be this is the moment.
That's honestly even better. It's always been there.
Yeah.
So then when did it kind of sink in that this is what it was going to be for the rest of your life? This was the passion. This was what you wanted to pursue.
I grew up playing school. I remember I was 5, 6 years old.
That.
I literally played school. I wrote quizzes and made my family take them, and I would literally grade them. So in between always wanting to be a teacher and always wanting to educate, but then also loving singing and dancing and acting and storytelling. Once again, it was kind of just felt like it was always there.
Yeah.
Then I was in high school and a theater program was just starting out at my school, Oceanside High School. And I was in 10th grade when I was able to take this acting class. And my teacher, Laura Costa, now Laura Gallo, who is my coworker because now I work in that school. She's crazy. But I just was I want to do that.
Yeah.
I always knew I wanted to teach and I always knew I wanted to be in this industry and this theater world. But I didn't really know that job existed.
Yeah.
So I was 15 years old and I was her. How do I be her?
Heard. Okay.
And then after that, I was okay, so I want to be her and I also want to open a theater company.
Amazing.
And then I was okay, well, I'm going to double major in business. And it just, next thing you know, it just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's did you have a dual degree or was it double major? Okay.
Fully double majored, 2 separate programs.
I don't know how you did that. It was 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years. Wow. And I studied abroad in London. I studied theater in London.
Oh, shit. Good for you.
And it was incredible. It was the best decision ever. And if you like can go abroad, my college students out there, if you can go abroad and that's something that you like would enjoy doing, could not recommend it enough.
And the UK is the place to do it.
Yeah, studying theater in London was truly fabulous. Saw so many shows, but then I also like was able to travel to so many different countries on the weekends because it was so accessible.
Truly.
And just the coolest experience. But
I love that. Okay, so then was there ever a performance dream for you?
A little bit, but not as much as other people. For me, it was always like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll do a tour and then teach. Maybe I'll do a cruise and then teach. Maybe I'll do like one big thing
for sure
and then teach. But it was always and then teach. And then it realized that I was like, I don't love performing as much as I love directing and teaching.
Totally.
And when I would take classes in college or even like master classes outside and all these, like my notebooks would be filled more about how I could then teach what I'm learning rather than how I could like apply it myself as a performer. It was always just, I want all the knowledge so I could share all the knowledge.
Yeah, rock and roll. And also from what I hear, you were in very popular demand as a teacher. Word on the street is that they literally made a position for you. And I'm going to ask you to speak on that as humbly as you possibly can.
Very cool moment. Like,
I mean, what an honor.
Top 3 like coolest moments ever. So my colleague was out on maternity leave and I was her leave replacement. So I was doing my thing, living my best teacher life. But I was always under the impression that when she came back, I had to go find something else. Because there was no job open. There was no position. It was her department and I was just taking care of it for her. And then I was going to go find another department that I could take care of.
Yeah.
But it was such a great time and experience. And the kids were all like, don't go. And I was like, I don't want to. But I have, like, there is no other option. There is no other position. And they're like, no, we'll take care of it. And I was like, what does that mean? They're like, don't worry about it. I was like, that sounds terrifying.
Kids are like, hey, don't worry about it.
I'm like, what do you mean? Don't worry about it. And they're like, don't worry about it. And they like planned this whole thing. So they all like got together and their parents and they all wrote letters. Letters which I later received and bawled my eyes out. They wrote letters. They wrote letters to our superintendent saying, you know, dear superintendent, here is a list of things that I love about Miss Taplin and why she should stay, and all letters that they presented to the superintendent without me knowing.
That's incredible.
Then after that, the superintendent said, okay, we'll hear you at a board meeting.
Okay.
And then they all came to the board meeting. And the president at the time, Sonny Berenson, spoke to the whole Board of Ed and gave this wonderful speech about not only me, but just the importance of theater education and why like we should have such a thriving program and how great it already is under the direction of Laura Gallo and how much more we could go with there being 2 teachers and all those things. And then the Board of Education heard, and then a few months later, I got invited to go to a board meeting, and then all my students came again, where then Dr. Harrington officially said that we are hiring Michelle Taplin, and all of them cheered in this auditorium, and I was like, how did we get here?
Literally.
Wow.
I mean, first of all, especially in this day and age, it is hard to get new positions
it's so
created in a school.
There are so many fabulous teachers out there that, like,
I mean, left and right, you see teachers and programs getting cut, never mind created. So
I'm so lucky.
Huge honor in that regard. But also, we all know that theater teacher or that history teacher or that English teacher is always the most pivotal person in so many people's lives, especially in those early high school ages. And that is clearly you to so many people, which is really, and that must be incredible, you know?
I'm really lucky, and not only really lucky to have the job I have, but really lucky to there be 2 theater teachers. I'm really lucky to work with my colleague Laura Gallo and just have the program that we have and have the support of the Board of Education, the support of our superintendent, the support of our building administration. Like,
was Laura that kind of person for you, that kind of revolutionary teacher that like you needed?
I was like, how do I like be her? I just thought that I was going to do it at a different school and, you know, we would just maintain our friendship, but instead we get to work together.
That's incredible.
So Yeah.
So what kind of classes do you teach? Because like my high school never had a theater program. There was never any hopes of getting a theater program, you know? Like what does that look like in a high school and middle school setting?
So it was originally just high school, but then when I got hired full time, I created a middle school program as well.
Okay.
So to go like youngest to oldest, I teach a 8th grade theater class. It's called Theater Exploration, and it touches on a couple topics, but it is kind of your preliminary course. We do improv. I introduce monologues, but more so in the form of like characterization and character work. So not monologues from full plays, but actually what I did is I had my high schoolers each write a monologue for me.
Whoa.
And then my middle schoolers performed it. So that was a really cool bridge in the gap, because I was like, I want them to work on characterization and how to study a monologue, but it can't be from a play. That's too complex, and that's high school level.
For sure.
But I want them to be able to dive into characters and try new things and take risks and be silly. And I want them to have text to do that.
Yeah.
So I spoke to my high schoolers, who then were like, we'll help you. And then a bunch of them wrote me these very character-driven one-off monologues, because I also teach a playwriting unit in the high school. So a lot of them were like, yeah, we got this for you.
Great.
It was really cool. And then my middle schoolers were so excited to be like, oh, the lead in the High School Musical wrote my play. And oh my God, it's so wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you find that there are... I mean, a lot of people that are taking these classes that are then like, wow, I want to do this. And then on the flip side, do you find that there are like the random high school people that are just like taking a class to take a class and then like discover something new in that regard?
Yeah, both. Okay. Like, it's a mix of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 8th grade class, then there's the beginner level, the high school level. It's called Elements of Acting. And that one we do monologues from plays. We do musical theater. We do a little bit of theater history. We do a tech unit where I teach them set design. I teach them costume design, makeup design. So that one's like a little bit of everything. And then the next one is in-depth and scene study, where then we do a whole mock college unit.
Great.
Taplin University. It's the hottest school ever. And I do a whole accent and character, and I bring in grads to be on the panel. It's sick.
Yeah.
We do this whole mock audition where they have to do a song, a monologue, a resume, dress appropriately, like the whole 9 yards. And then I also do a playwriting unit in that class, a couple other really exciting things, a lot of learning about the industry and some of our really pivotal industry professionals and creators that have paved the way to musical theater like we see it now.
Yeah.
Do a lot of that. And then that's and then I also teach a special ed theater class.
Gotcha.
That's what I teach. And then my colleague teaches theater production, which is the advanced level at the high school. They do directing, Shakespeare, a little bit more of that kind of stuff. And then there's also a special ed theater and dance class at the high school. And then there's also a dance class that counts as a gym. So between all of those classes I mentioned, that's what me and my colleague split up and teach.
Yeah.
To answer your other question, the past couple of years, I've had the number of students going for theater grow since, the program is growing and since the past couple of years. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Coaching them, helping them. I get up early to give them extra help in the morning.
For sure.
Stay late after rehearsal, give up my lunch period. Like, I am so invested in their whole process.
For sure.
It's really cool. It's also really cool when they're like, I love theater, but I want to go be a nurse, or I want to go be a doctor. And I'm like, heck yeah, you do. Like, theater is so important. Whether you go into it or you don't, it teaches you the most incredible life skills.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to be a well-rounded person. It teaches you how to be empathetic, a team player, time management. It teaches you actually everything, in my opinion.
No, truly.
Truly, like, if you're not a theater person, I don't know what you
I don't know.
I don't know
you have
really
the social
understand.
skills. You probably don't.
Eye contact. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, a bunch of them do go into this, and a bunch of them are like, I just kind of maybe like her class.
Yes.
Okay, cool, rock on.
For sure.
Come hang out with me.
We need the Troy Boltons, you know?
Yeah. Like, I play a sport in the fall, but I do the spring show.
Amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. That's the other thing, too, is my school is so lucky to have, we do 6 shows a year.
Oh, my God.
Throughout the whole year. So you do one, you do all, you do some, rock on. Let's get her grooving.
Wow. Okay.
Get her
so
grooving.
then
Why did I say that?
I love it. We're putting it on a t-shirt. So when you do have those kids that are starting to entertain the idea of pursuing this professionally, I would imagine, I mean, it's probably easier since there is like a theater program and it is valued in this regard. But like, do you feel pushback from parents a lot? And like, are you having these conversations with them, or are you trying to help facilitate that with the students themselves?
It's a little bit of both.
Heard.
There are absolutely parents who are fully supportive. There are parents who are a little apprehensive for understandable reasons.
Yeah.
There are conversations I have with parents, phone calls, email chains, in-person conversations after shows or events. And then there's also conversations I have with students to then help guide them with the conversation that they will have with the parent.
For sure.
At the end of the day, though, what I fully believe is that if you love something so much, you will make it work.
That's exactly right.
If you love this, if you really love this and you are willing to put in the work, then you will be just fine.
Yeah.
Because you will figure it out.
For sure. And that's a lot of responsibility to put on like kids of that age and whatnot, for sure. But like, it is also a trial and error thing too, where you might have to try and you might fail, and that might be the indicator that this might not be for you. But like, it's the willingness to try in the first place that is really the most important.
Yes. And there are so many jobs out there that you can go into that's not just performing by being in this industry, by getting a degree that's involving theater, by studying this. There are so many jobs out there, and I feel it is my responsibility to introduce at least some of the many jobs out there.
Totally.
So that if you love this industry so much, but maybe you don't want to be a performer full time, there are still ways to earn money.
For sure.
Make a living and a career out of this industry.
Totally.
I consider myself to be incredibly successful, even though I'm not,
I mean,
whatever.
You are,
like,
yeah.
But that's my point, though, is like, what is success? Do you have to be on Broadway to be successful? I disagree.
No, I totally agree with that. And the more things that you can dip your toes into, the more well-rounded and better of a collaborator you are going to be. You are going to be a huge asset to any company in that regard, Like, I mean, even if you're an accountant for said theater, or if you're working house management or doing any of these things, I still say minor in theater, do a double major in theater, because the more you know about the craft, the more of an asset you are going to be to that company.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And like, people don't know that. People don't know like the sheer science that it takes to be an electrician in a theater, to be like, I don't know. My brother-in-law is a master electrician, and then once I started learning about that kind of stuff, like I started talking to him about all these kinds of things, because it's not something that you ever really think of, the fact that there is someone that has to be well-versed in all these special kinds of lights and soundboards and all this kinds of stuff. And it is truly like they are just electricians, but for this really freaking cool space, Like,
I love teaching my theater tech unit because they're like, this is a job.
Yeah.
Like, when I taught them about being a TD or artistic director, they were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There's so much out there.
Truly. And like, I will say, like, my school and my program was very tech heavy. Like, it had a lot of really great master's programs revolving around tech. And like, quite frankly, the most successful people that are coming out of my school are the tech people. It is the lighting designers. It is the set designers and costume designers. Like, they are the ones who are graduating and immediately working and just continuing to work in whatever realms that they kind of want to, because the jobs are easier to get and there's more coming to them. So like, if you have a passion in any way in those aspects as well, like, nurture that for sure, because you can make money doing it. Let me tell you, I'll be the first to say, I did step away from the costume world, but when I was in it, I was making money, and it was like, the first job I ever had was like really crazy, because I had worked at a grocery store my whole life as a high schooler, and then into college, and then I graduated and then started working in the industry, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I know this is probably like a really standard paycheck, but like, this is more money than I've ever made in my life. And this is incredible.
Getting paid to do what you love is genuinely the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my very first theater paycheck, I wanted to like freaking frame it.
Truly.
Like, I'm like, I don't even need to cash it. I just want to hang it up on my wall forever. I was in a production of Bye Bye Birdie at 16. And we did a summer tour, and I was the dance captain as well. And I got a paycheck, and I was like, what? This is so cool.
Yeah.
Little sad girl #1 or whatever my role was. I think it was that. No, it was definitely a sad girl.
We love sad girl #1.
I think it was, I don't remember. It was definitely a sad girl. And I love Bye Bye Birdie. So much fun. A great summer.
I hate Bye Bye Birdie.
Okay. Well, I thought it was a blast.
I'm a Bye Bye Birdie hater, and that's on me. That's on me. I was never in it.
Telephone hour.
I'm like, whatever. But that's on me, and I get it. I'm the minority in this situation. Okay, so now you have your little business tap into your passion, which is extremely important and vital. But what has that journey been like for you, starting that? Well, I guess I'll first ask, was there any imposter syndrome feeling trying to go into this, or is it something that you just saw that fit so well that you kind of just dove right in?
Of course there's imposter syndrome. When I started coaching for college 3 years ago, and when the first student approached me to be like, can you do this with me? Can you help me? I was like, immediately yes, but I'm like, she wants me to help her? What?
Yeah.
Me, what do I know? It takes time to be like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's when you care so much about it. If I could make all of my students' dreams come true, I literally would.
Yeah.
I wish I could make all of them
for sure,
happy.
Yeah.
But I can't always do that. But what I try to do is teach them the tools to get through the hard times and teach them the tools to shift their mindset when things don't go their way. And
totally.
I could tell them everything I think about their pieces and all the things, but it's their audition. Yeah. And that's the other part of it too, where I'm not in the room with you when you get the in-person audition, and I am not the performer.
Yeah.
So I could give you all of my advice and tips and tricks, but you have to then make it your own.
Yeah.
That doesn't answer your question, though. Your question was about imposter syndrome.
Just generally starting it. Yeah. But how do you find yourself trying to prep them for what the world is,
God, what a question.
No, it's tough transition because I personally didn't go through the college audition process. I didn't audition for any schools. I completely avoided that because I didn't know.
Sucks.
I didn't know how. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to prepare things and whatnot, but also just it felt so daunting. It felt like such a daunting world that I didn't feel like I had the right to be there,
Yeah, something I say to them a lot is you get to do this. It can be really stressful, and it is going to be.
Yeah.
But it is a long process. And if you start early enough, it can and it should and it will be very fun if you let it be fun.
Yeah.
Nowadays, for those who don't know much about the college audition process, you need a lot.
Yep.
2 songs, 2 monologues, a dance pre-screen, a wild card, maybe even 3 monologues if they want a Shakespeare. And that's just the pre-screen. And then if you pass the pre-screen and you go to callbacks, that's a different dance.
Yeah.
And maybe you're showing them a different song and a different monologue.
Totally.
And you need to make sure that all of them are contrasting and all of them complement each other and all of them show different parts of you. And it's a lot. But you get to work on 6 pieces.
Yeah.
You get to show them different colors of you as a performer. You get to work on your range. And we have a blast in lessons. They go by so quickly because we have so much fun.
Good.
And although you know that the end goal is I have to audition with this, the lessons are a blast. And watching the student discover these choices that I've prompted them, it's the coolest feeling. And they're like, I get it. That felt so good. And it's yeah, it did.
Amazing.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And that part's really cool.
Okay. Good.
And that part's really fun. And some auditions are more stressful than others for the student. But the whole process actually can be very, very fun.
Totally. At what age are they coming to you with this kind of I need to start prepping for college kind of thing?
I recommend spring of your junior year because realistically the whole thing takes about a year. If you start spring of your junior year and then you commit spring of your senior year, then the whole thing took a year. But you're not working every day all year. If you space it out, it feels very manageable.
Okay, heard. And then how many schools do you tend to see your students applying for?
I always recommend at least 10.
Okay.
At least 10, anywhere from 10 to 20, I think is good. 15 is kind of a sweet spot. The other thing, too, is it is expensive to apply to schools.
It is.
And if you do go to in-person auditions, that's also taxing on, time and budget. Obviously, there's unifieds and things like that, but you also have to make sure that you're healthy enough to go to all of these.
Totally.
And that you maintain your own physical and emotional health as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to apply to 30 schools. I know some people do.
Yeah.
I say at least 10, but I love a good 15.
For sure.
15 to 20.
How many schools did you apply to?
I don't know, 8. I know so much more now than I did then. Oh my God.
Truly.
Oh my God.
I think I only applied to like 6 or 7, but like I think I knew in my heart that I was going to be like staying in Massachusetts and like staying near home and kind of doing that kind of thing. So I definitely felt a little bit more comfortable in that, but I also wasn't doing the audition situation. I went in undeclared. I wasn't actively pursuing theater because I was discouraged from doing that. You know,
it's an additional. It's hard enough to get into a school academically.
Truly.
And then you're doing a whole extra step. It's a lot.
It is.
So the earlier you start, the more manageable it is.
What do you see and what do you encourage from your students in terms of like keeping grades up in other realms?
You gotta. You could they could want you artistically, but if they don't accept you academically, you might not get in. I mean, time management is the most important thing. And if you are someone who does theater, chances are you have a fairly good aspect of or grasp on time management, because you know what it's like to go to rehearsal every day after school until 6 p.m. and then have to do your homework. And then also if you do outside dance or you do outside voice lessons or anything else, that also takes up your time. So learning how to manage all of that and just kind of being like, I can't do all of this for you. I can help you. I could give you every tool I know how to do. I could make calendars for you. I make all my students spreadsheets and trackers and I follow them through it every single step of the journey. But I cannot do your math homework for you. You need to just be on top of your stuff.
Yeah. How do you, now that I'm thinking about this, I'm reflecting back to my high school experience and the people that I was there with. Do you ever find students that are like, yeah, I want to do this, but are not applying themselves just generally? And how do you navigate that?
Some tough love.
Yeah.
Some you are really talented, but you have to put in the work. This industry is not that forgiving sometimes. No one's going to just knock on your door and be like, yes, you are the next Jeremy Jordan or whatever. You gotta want it.
Truly.
I will help you. I will do everything I can for you, but I can't do it for you.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to is the grit. It's not all about talent. I say that all the time.
No.
You know, if someone likes you, if you walk into an audition room and you are so damn likable, they're already hooked.
Yeah.
It's about the grit. It's about the personality. It's about the presence, the vibe. It's about so many things, not just how high you could sing.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of emphasis around authenticity these days. And I feel like it's very hard to know who you are as a high schooler.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find is that an emphasis that you try to put on? And is there ways that you're trying to help these kids discover themselves?
Yeah. Storytelling is the most important aspect of this whole thing. You know, musical theater is not just a chorus concert. It's telling a story. And I don't care how pretty you sound. If there is nothing going on behind your eyes, I am not buying it.
Yeah.
I say to them a lot, I can help pick your materials. I could tell you what I think you should do. But if you can't find the truth in it, we're not doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not my audition. It's your audition. Stop trying to be who you think they want you to be. You don't know them.
Totally.
You don't know what they want. They want to see you.
Yeah.
And if I'm not seeing you, they're definitely not seeing you. You're not seeing you. Who is you? That wasn't grammatically correct, but you get the point.
No, truly. Yeah. And do you, now I'm just ruminating back on high school Brennan, terrifying. Do you find that a lot of the kids are kind of just lead brain centered, where it's yes, I want to be Jeremy Jordan, when they are very much not Jeremy Jordan, you know?
Sometimes it's a matter of let's find you and let's continue to work on all different types of pieces until you feel that you found you. Theater art form in general, whether that be studio art, dance, musical theater, whatever creative outlet it is such a beautiful way to find who you are.
Yeah.
And it's okay that you don't know that at 16. You shouldn't. I think we're all evolving every day.
Yes.
I'm 29 years old and I'm still learning things about myself. Everyone learns things all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's also crazy to be oh, yes, at 17, you have to get into this BFA program because they could see that you're going to be on Broadway. What?
Literally.
They're 17 years old.
Yeah.
I hope we continue to grow every day.
For sure. It's now, this is really a therapy session at this point, because I'm wow.
For you? For me?
For me.
For everybody?
Because in high school, I was I was trying so I just wanted to be someone that I was not so badly.
Yeah.
Like, I was wanting to try and emulate all of these people and all of these things that just were not who I was, rather than just like sitting in who I was and what made me unique in all those regards and stuff. And it was like, I look back and I'm like, that's just so much time wasted, when I really could have been just kind of like owning what makes me me, and just like trying to find confidence in that, and like, whether it's the theater kid of it all, where it's like, we are typically the, like, frankly, losers of the school, the people that are picked on, the people that are
my
most
kids
different.
Are awesome.
Okay, well, never mind. I guess it was just me.
I think my kids are the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I can tell you
that's
that they
the other
are.
thing too. Like, theater kids run the world. They really do.
Oh yeah.
The bravery that it takes to do half of the shit that they do.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Truly.
Everyone should be jealous of a theater kid.
I like the amount of power that they will hold one day is incredible. Just
they already hold it, but yes, like.
And whether it's a delusion or what, I don't know. But like, half the time I'm like driving through my hometown whenever I visit, and I'm like, they don't even know I'm the most famous person from this place. Nobody's come out of this town in years like I have, and they don't even know.
Yeah,
but it is
tell them.
No,
literally shout it from the car.
Literally my delusion.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, please, no pictures.
But I think everyone needs to be a little bit delusional.
Yeah,
a little bit, like a healthy amount. It is also true. You are incredibly successful. I love this podcast and Brennan.
Oh my God, stop! I'm not prompting that whatsoever. Literally gone to head. No, but it's just like there was like a weird point in my life when I like started. It was actually when I started drama club and like started leaning into these things that I was actually interested in, when like all of a sudden I became way cooler, like in the social circles.
Yes.
And like
because you are actually being yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's really easy to see when someone's being fake.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Truly.
And I really do try my best to make it a point to uplift my students by telling them what the positive and lovely things that I see about them. And I'm like, why would you want to be that when you already are this?
Yeah.
But this is so cool. You do this so well.
Totally.
I want to see you do that. Why don't you want to see you do that? Because I think that is the coolest thing that you could possibly do.
Exactly.
And I love that about you. And guess what? This person loves that about you too. And this person because I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I see how other people look at you and treat you. Why don't you treat you that way? Like, that would be so much cooler if you did. So let's all be cool together and be our true selves.
Yeah, that's really all there was to it. I like, as soon as I made those steps and started doing those things, like the peers that I had wanted to emulate so bad were the ones that are like, oh, cool. It's cool that you're doing that. Like, cool that this show's happening. Like, I want to come see it. And it's like, oh, actually interesting.
Yeah.
Because like now I am doing what I enjoy. I'm surrounded by people with similar interests than me. And then the people I was always trying to make appreciate me just naturally appreciate me now. And it was really just a huge come to Jesus moment, really, where I was like, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now. And I don't know what happened all of a sudden, but that was also one of those things where like I didn't really recognize that I was just being who I was. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm making decisions right now that are making me happier. And crazy
concept.
Insane. And like feeling comfortable in that. And like there were like clubs and stuff that where I was a part of where I didn't have time for anymore. And I was like, you know what, this doesn't serve me and it doesn't bring me joy and I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
But it was so anxiety provoking to like work up the courage to
do
quit that. And then I did it. And then I was just so much more free. And I was like, it really gave me the space to kind of come into my own on the tail end of my high school years. And I really just wish I could have pushed young Brennan to do it sooner,
I think that's the same sentiment with the college audition process. Exactly what you described in terms of friendships and clubs.
Yeah.
I believe is the same with college auditions. They see you being genuine. They see you telling your stories through your songs and your monologues. They see you. They see how you answer those interview questions potentially at a lot of these in person before or after your pieces. And they want to work with you. I tell that to my kids all the time. Half of the college audition acceptance process is, do they want you in their program for 4 years? Do they want to like hang out with you?
Yeah.
Do they want to spend time with you for 4 years? Do they want to teach you? Because, But then the other part of it too is it is so mind-boggling how all these decisions get made sometimes. And sometimes there is no rhyme or reason, and you can be absolutely lovely and fantastic, and they could love you and see the talent and the potential, but not be able to offer you a spot.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part.
Truly.
And then that, as a teacher, that is so heartbreaking for me sometimes. I genuinely cry tears of sadness and happiness with my students all the time.
Yeah.
When they're sad, I'm sad. And I'm also jumping up and down, screaming, hugging them when they get into their dream school. And we're all crying and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it all also really sucks when they don't get in. And it's like, you're freaking talented and you are lovely. And I cannot say enough amazing things about you. And I wish I can call that school up and be like, you missed out on such an amazing person.
Literally. It's like, it is also just like a reflection of this industry itself. So honestly, as devastating as it is, it's also a good barometer to have,
yes.
you know, will you be able to withstand the rejection of it all? Because quite frankly, as soon as you get out there, you're going to go to one audition where you're just seen at an EPA once and you're going to feel absolutely amazing that you even got seen in the first place, and then nothing's going to happen. And then that's going to be the first real letdown of it all, where you're going to be in callbacks or something and get so close and then lose it out. And, you know, and that's also even higher stakes because this is your income, this is your livelihood. But how do you even get there if you can't even get into a school, you know?
Yeah.
It's all bullshit, quite frankly.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, it's a bunch of malarkey. It's subjective. It's
so subjective. You can get into such an incredible program and then not get into another incredible. It's so complicated.
Yeah.
And going back to a question you asked a little while ago about imposter syndrome, it all kind of ties to it because it's like, it's really hard sometimes because I just want all of them to succeed, and I know that they will, and I believe in them so much regardless of what school they go to.
Totally.
The other thing too is it almost doesn't matter what school you go to. I say this a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You matter. Your work ethic matters. What you make of it matters. You could go to a top school and then not do anything after graduation because you're not putting in enough. Or you can go to a fantastic BA, learn so much, meet such wonderful people, and walk out of there after 4 years feeling on top of the world and ready to take over.
Truly.
You're the factor here.
I mean, if I've learned anything from doing this in the past year, however long we've been doing it, I mean, there is no one linear path. You know, there is no linear path. People are going to go to all sorts of different schools. People aren't even going to go to school and they're still going to find their way. And it's just a matter of when you are coming into the industry, whether that be after you graduated college or you're entering New York City and whatnot, trying to make it big or whatever, you need to be so real with yourself and identifying the holes of where you lack, you know? Because quite frankly, I don't think there's any program or any path that's going to teach you everything you need to know.
No.
And you have to be so freaking real with yourself that if I want to do this kinds of thing, I need to hone in on these things that I am not good at, you know? And
you need to know what you are not good at.
Yes.
And then you need to decide, okay, am I going to, let's say it's dance for argument's sake, are you going to get your butt into class all the time? Or are you going to work 10 times harder at acting? And maybe you're like, well, if I'm really, really great at this, then maybe I don't need to also be a dancer. You know, not everyone needs to be a triple threat.
No.
But then you need to know what you are really great at.
Yeah.
And then hone in on that.
And then make yourself a triple threat, you know?
Right.
I don't dance. I'm a triple threat. I act, I sing, and I'm just a pleasure to be around, you know?
Yes. What is a triple threat?
The vibe's immaculate, you know? That's my third.
I bring vibes to the table.
No, I mean, but it's true. It's like if you can find that one thing that you are better at than anyone else.
Yeah.
And also subjective in that regard, but it's like that's what is going to help you succeed. It is you finding that lightning in a bottle that you possess that is rare. And there might be a couple of other people that have it, but for the most part, it makes you stand out above all of the people that are around you. You hone in on that, you use that to your advantage, and it might not even be something that you love or enjoy for the long term, but if that's going to get your foot in the door, use it to your advantage, get your foot in that door. And then once that door is open, you can be like, oh, by the way, I'm really talented in other regards.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
Let me show you. Yeah.
You know, we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves, but we have to get our foot in the door.
100%.
So let's focus on what we do really well.
Yeah.
Let's use that to get our foot in the door. And then we could showcase our other skills.
For sure. Do you ever find that there are students who want to pursue this but do not want to go to college?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is there any kind of anecdotes that you offer to them in those regards?
I mean, I coach them.
Yeah,
and some of them are like, yeah, like this is, I'll do lessons with you. I'll do certain classes and stuff. You can go to school. You said it before. You can go to school. You cannot go to school. You could study something else. You could get the BFA. You can go to conservatory. You could do so many things. What matters is you. What matters is you.
It must also be really interesting being in such close proximity to the city, and kind of having those dreams actually be way closer and more visible, I would imagine that is kind of a booster for a lot of people.
I grew up on Long Island. Mm-hmm. I've always been close to the city. I've always loved the city.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to grow up in like Wisconsin.
Oh my God. Yeah.
For sure. To not be around the city, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you it's just a whole different world.
Yeah.
It really is a whole different world. Like, I don't know actually how many people are in my town. I'm going to say 3,500 as a blanket statement, but like my graduating class in high school was 97 kids.
Wow. Mine was 500.
Exactly. I could not imagine sitting through graduation having the last name that starts with the letter S. I could barely do it with the 97, But like I came from this suburban town, it was very average middle class, majority white. Out of those 97 kids, I would say less than 15 were POC of any sort, and it's like, this is just kind of the world that and it's really, I am lucky that I went to school where I did because it was very progressive and liberal and just diverse as fuck and had an emphasis on that where I was like, oh, wait, no, like this is the real world. This is like, I have to kind of reconceive what I knew and kind of adjust to that and then look at it objectively when I do visit home and be like, okay, so this isn't all that there is. And also the people that are telling me that this is what the world is just don't know. It's like, this is what their world is, and that's totally fine, but that is not what my world could be. And that's really magical and beautiful.
Yeah.
So it is quite jarring. And also like with the arts of it all too, like trying to acknowledge the fact that like there are places where like art is extremely valued and it's just not this place that I came from.
Well, that's the thing too, is I want to say that you don't have to go to college in New York City to have a fantastic experience, to learn so much.
Exactly.
These schools that are in non-theater centered towns and cities are also fantastic.
Totally.
I think that's a myth to be like, I have to stay near the city.
No, not at all.
Because also regional theaters are out there are fantastic. And,
and that's how you're going to be making a lot of your money too,
Right.
Yeah.
So it's great to be close to the city. It's great to live in the city. It's great to have the city.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to understand that great theater exists in many other places as well.
Totally. And also, like, once you graduate and you start working, you're going to be compiling your database of like, oh, I know so-and-so was from here. Maybe I can stay on their parents' couch while I do this regional gig.
Yeah,
It like truly you do start compiling your Rolodex of who has local housing
where is a couch.
Yeah. Because it does help you in the beginning when you need to take whatever contract you can get for $300 a week,
Yes, so, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, seeing different parts of the country and the world is very important in that regard as well. Just like familiarizing yourself with different environments and being able to thrive. Because like, quite frankly, when I met Brandon, we were doing a contract in a very strange place in California.
And that happens.
Yeah, with very particular demographics and very particular worldviews that may not align with what we knew, but we were still getting paid to perform there in these regards. And it's like, how are we going to survive in this place while doing what we love and making our art? It was a hoot and a half, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's those lessons that you need to learn, and there's no way to really do that other than by doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just get on out there.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. It's an interesting industry. It really is.
It is.
And it's tough to kind of prepare yourself for that, but I envy all of your students and the people that have so many resources and like the kind of people to really bolster them up and, root for them. That's really amazing. And it's people like you that really, you change the lives of students. Like you really do. Because like you think everyone in this industry thinks back to that teacher in high school that would protect them and nurture them and like really make them feel special and seen and, you know, be their friend. You know, it's like, oh, let me go eat lunch with my teacher friend, you know,
love them.
And it's really important. It's really important that people have those.
Thank you. They truly are my pride and joy. Mm-hmm. There's like 150 or so of them.
Yeah.
And I love all of them very deeply.
For sure. For sure. Do you do virtual coachings at all, or is it all in person?
Okay. I mean, most of them are in person.
For sure. For sure.
Generally, all of my students are Long Island based.
Yes.
But I have definitely coached on Zoom.
Understood.
Not opposed to doing virtual.
Hear that, folks?
Sometimes, it needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's just a blast when we get to be in person.
Oh, but of course. It always makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, we just have a lot of fun.
For sure.
We just try so many different things that I feel sometimes is a little bit more like open when you're just kind of like vibing together. But we also have great lessons virtually too. So
amazing.
We do it all.
We do it all. Yeah, you do. Michelle, this has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you for having me. I've had the best time.
Yeah, theater education is so important. It is also like the world that I came from. Like I did the minor in education. I did the teaching in middle schools and elementary schools and summer programs and all that stuff. And it is truly such a different kind of muscle that you have to flex in order to do it. And it is not for everyone. You know, teaching, everyone says those who don't do teach, but I always say...
I hate that statement. I'm sorry.
I say they may teach, but they don't teach well. You know, that's the thing is not everyone can be a teacher. It takes a tenacity and a certain kind of ability to interact with the youth and like actually value them and like have patience in certain regards that not everyone can do, you know? So shout out to you for, I mean, no, truly, it is so important. So yeah.
I love my job very much.
I'm glad.
And I hope I could do it forever.
Hell yeah. Do you have any other words of wisdom that you would like to share? Anything for the young Michelles out there in the world?
Oh gosh. I think just keep doing what you love and know that if nobody is rooting for you, I'm always rooting for you.
Hell yeah. That's exactly right. Folks, get out there. Start doing the thing. Start auditioning for colleges. Start taking classes somewhere and not go to college. I don't know. Who am I to tell you what to do? You know? Just get out there. Start doing the thing. We are rooting for you.
Yeah. Do whatever it is that makes you happy, honestly. Like, you know, even if, like I said before we were talking about my teaching job at Oceanside, there are kids that don't go for this.
Yeah.
Rock on. Like, whatever it is that makes you happy, dude.
Yeah.
You have one life. We get one life.
Never be afraid to chase your happiness, no matter how unachievable it may seem or how non-monetarily beneficial it may seem. Chase what you love, because they always say this, but if you're doing what you love, then you'll never work a day in your life. But like, it's true. And let me tell you, if I had the ability to never work a day in my life because of that, I would be. I freaking would be. But yeah, no, truly, like, I don't care if your dream is to work in an office. I don't care if your dream is to be an architect or whatnot. I don't care if your dream is to be a neuroscience, whatever, a NASA engineer. Go do it. Give yourself the tools, put in the time and the work, because once you are on the other side and actually doing the thing, life is going to be so beautiful.
Yeah.
And if anyone tells you not to, if anyone's holding you back, don't you pay 1 ounce of attention to them. Trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your heart, and just go for it.
Yeah. Rock on.
Boom. Folks, yes, get out there, start doing the thing. We are your biggest supporters. Of course, you can be our biggest supporters by finding us on Patreon. That is patreon.com/BA to Broadway. Your general disclaimer, we are not gatekeeping any vital information on there. No important lessons. That is just for fun bonus content, looks into the lives of some of the fools that I get to join me on this show, all sorts of weird industry stories, or just random life anecdotes, sometimes things that I cut out of the episodes for various reasons. Go get all the tea over there on the Patreon. And guess what? I made it cheaper. Times are tough right now. Eggs are expensive. Gas is expensive. And I don't want you to have to pay more for these opportunities. So I made it cheaper. Get on over there. Join this awesome community. We would love to have you. As always, you can find us on most social media platforms at BH Broadway. Michelle, where can folks find you if you want to be found?
Amazing. Instagram, tap into your passion.
Rock and roll. Go check it out, folks. Book some lessons, take some master classes if you're around the city, around the Long Island area. Get in there, start doing the thing with this wonderful person. You're going to have a blast.
Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you again and all of the future, current, and past students.
Wow. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, oh my gosh, of course.
You are welcome back anytime. And
can't wait.
Until that next time, folks, bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.